Hey guys, Richard here with eBike Reviews and Adventures. Hey, we've had the Mokwheel Obsidian here for about a month, so it's time for us to do the full review. Again, I'd like to thank Mokwheel for sending us the Obsidian so we could test it, review it, and enjoy it. And well, let's go ahead and talk about it. All right guys, so you've seen some videos already about the Mokwheel Obsidian because we've had this out on trail, we've been riding it around, really enjoying it. And I want to share some things with you. I'm going to go over some of the specs. You've probably already seen other videos that have all the details about this bike, but let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things. Then I'm going to share my impressions with you, about the things that I like and a couple of things maybe I don't like about this bike. So first of all, just a reminder, this is a 1,000 watt motor right here. So huge, powerful motor, great for off-roading because you got lots of power there. It does come with a torque sensor, okay? So not a cadence. This is a torque sensor, which just adds to the comfort and stability of this bike right here. Makes it a joy to ride. We do have a huge 19.6 amp hour battery that is integrated with the frame, much like what Mokwheel has done on their other bikes. Up here in the front, we do have Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. Those are 180 millimeters. And of course, we do have these huge 26x4 fat tires. Now, it does come with suspension forks, hydraulic suspension forks. And as you can see right here, even out doing some rough riding, we haven't even compressed these all the way. We got a lot of travel here. So that has been real nice on the hills and the bumps. And as you can see here, it's still kind of dirty from our last outing there. So we still got some mud spatter all over it. Right up here, let's take a closer look at the frame, because this is one of the great things about Mokwheel, one of the things I really like, and that is when they build their frames, they take the time to grind down the weld joints, okay? And they smooth everything off, so you don't have any weld marks or anything like you do on other bikes, and it just makes for a very nice and sleek looking frame. I love that. I also like this color a whole lot too. You know, on the website, this color yellow, it kind of looks like a canary yellow, bright yellow. And that's kind of what I was expecting. But when this showed up, I liked it even more because it's almost like a sunflower, you know, it's got that yellowish orange kind of look to it. And I really like that. Right down here, we do have this air shock, which really adds to the comfort of the ride, especially when you're trail riding. And this is adjustable, and it's an air shock. So, you know, depending on what your body weight is, you can go ahead and make adjustments there. We have a standard seat post and a standard seat up here, the saddle. Pretty firm, like most of them are. As we move on back here, we have a 44 tooth front crank, and we have an 8-speed back here, okay? So this is a Shimano cassette. It's an 8-speed. I don't remember the ratio there. What's that? Probably an 11, maybe up to, what, 32? So that's just a guess there. I'm gonna have to go out and check on that. We do have a Shimano Altus derailleur right here. Now, one thing that you notice back here, even though this is a, you know, it's considered a mountain bike, they offer the fenders, and soon they're gonna offer a back rack. And so some people, you know, if you're gonna be riding, you know, trail riding and stuff, you don't necessarily care about the fenders. It gives it a nice, it's a nice look without them. But I don't ride trail that much. Most of my riding is street riding. So that's why we went ahead and opted for the fenders and put these fenders on. And they are just a plasticky kind of fender. Now let's get back here to this rack. Now there's a lot of people that were disappointed because racks, they're not even available. Mokwheel didn't even offer this when the Obsidian came out. But we've been in contact with them, and they told us that they do have one in production. And it's going to be available soon on their website. So be looking for that if you have an Obsidian already. Be looking for that rack if you should choose to want one. I plan to get one because I like the place to be able to haul a little bit of cargo. All right, let's see here. This is kind of like a mid-step, okay? Because it's not a real high step. It's certainly not a step through. But I like this design right here because it does make it a little easier on and off. And of course, it gives you a nice standover height when you need to stop and stand up. Going back here on the frame, here's something else I'll point out to you too. This frame was already designed with the threaded inserts there for that rack. So I'll just back up and share that with you. Now this bike, similar to the Mokwheel Basalt and Scoria, this one does have an optional plug here. That is for the inverter that they sell. Now, a lot of people are confused about the inverter. It's not an extra battery. All it is it takes the energy from the battery here and converts it into something usable, so you can plug in like a regular household plug into it to be able to use this battery right here. Also, the inverter is used if you want to connect solar panels to the inverter. It allows you to recharge this battery using solar panels. So that's also a really nice feature for some people who may need something like that. All right, let's go up here and look at the cockpit area. Now, this is a familiar cockpit with, you know, if you have the basalt or scoria, or if you've seen those, it's gonna look very similar. We have the branded Mokwheel grips right here, which I really like because you've got the padded palm rest right here, and it's just a really nice feel. We do have a left-handed thumb throttle, and here's your typical button pad that Mokwheel likes to have. You know, some of the bikes come with white embossed icons so you can see it a little better, and it's hard to see this, especially when it's a little dark, but that's the power up, down, and that is the headlight button right there. Over here on the right side, or in the center, we have the Mokwheel display, which is very nice colorful display right here. It shows you your speed, your battery level, trip time, your pass level that you're in, and it's got some administrative settings where you can get into and play with a few things too, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, you cannot adjust the pedal assist levels with this display, and that would be a nice feature that a lot of people look for, and I wish Mokwheel would offer that sometime in the future. Moving on over to the right, this is a cell phone holder that we put on after the fact, so that's an accessory that we added. But over here, look, you've got the finger shifters, and it is an 8-speed. And I really like the finger shifter. It works well, it's just more comfortable to use than that, you know, standard Shimano thumb shifter. So I really like those also. All right, guys, and one other thing here is, because this is a mountain style bike and it typically does not have a rack, you don't have a tail light. So what Mokwheel did is they did give you this battery operated tail light that you can just strap on right here, but you have to manually turn it on each time. You know, so if you're gonna be riding at night or something, that'd be something to be important to you, but it's not integrated with the battery. So therefore it's not integrated with your hand brakes or anything. So you don't have a brake light that lights up. And that's unfortunate, because for a bike like this, it would be really nice if they had maybe somehow integrated a light back here. But, you know, that'd be just one small improvement that I would recommend for a future upgrade. All right, guys, we're going to do the riding portion of this review right here. I tell you what, I've really enjoyed this Obsidian. And I tell you what, I don't even own it anymore. No. See, I've got 2 daughters, and I have a son-in-law, and they all have e-bikes. And I have told them in the past that anytime I get a bike in that they really like and maybe they want to upgrade from what they currently have, they can do that. You know, they just give me their older one and they can have one of the newer ones that I have. Well, son-in-law Devin, the day after we got the Obsidian in, he took it for a short little test ride. He came back and said, "Hey, Dad, I want that bike." So Devin is now the proud owner of this bike, but with the understanding that I'm going to get to ride it from time to time as well, because I love this bike a lot too. This is probably one of the nicer bikes that I've had on the channel, in overall build quality and performance. It just works very, very well. So we're going to get up here, we're going to turn around, because I want to stay right here on this country road to begin with and share a couple of things with you. So we're going to go ahead and hit the brakes. We're going to make a turn right here. So what makes this bike so special? Well, a couple things. One, it's got a torque sensor, and more bike companies are starting to recognize the need for torque sensors over cadence. So they're starting to go towards those, which I really appreciate, because torque sensor is just so much nicer than a cadence. And I'll talk more about that in a minute, because there's a couple things to know about this particular torque sensor. Also, this bike, the gear set that they give you on this bike is perfect. Oftentimes companies will put a standard 14 by 28 gear set on the back, and what happens when you start getting up to higher speeds, you start ghost pedaling a lot. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute, there's no ghost pedaling with this bike. You can go top speed, and it's just a comfortable ride. So that is really sweet about this bike. And the next thing I probably like the most about this is the rear suspension. I mean, it's almost like floating along on a cloud. You know, when I'm going across rough terrain or something, the rear suspension just works very, very well. And yeah, I mean, it's just a comfortable ride. So it makes a great trail riding e-bike, and also just a great cruising bike like this. I don't get to ride trails too often because I have to travel quite a distance to get there. So most of my riding is street riding. But yeah, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and stop here for a moment. Let's go ahead and stop here. I'm going to drop this down into pedal assist 1, and we're just going to go full throttle, see what happens. And no pedaling at all. There's 15, there's 18, there's 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, 28.7, and it hit 29. So with my body weight of 245 pounds, you know, I can hit 29 miles per hour. Devin, I think he weighs like $140 or something, $135 or something. He can hit 32 on this bike, okay? So it's a fast bike, but what you need to know here is I did that on pedal assist 1. So on pedal assist 1, I mean, you still have full use of the throttle up to the top speed, unlike some bikes that require you to change the pedal assist setting in order to go faster on throttle. So that's not the case here. Now, let's go up here. First of all, let's just go through the grass right here a little bit. It's kind of rough right through here, but you know what? This bike handles it just fine. Yeah. All right, let's get turned around here because now we're gonna do pedal only. So we're in pedal assist 1. And let me show you this. And this is where we'll talk about that torque sensor just a little bit. In pedal assist 1, I'm going to tilt my camera down so you can see my feet. When you start to push on the crank, you only have to push a really short distance. I mean, not even, maybe a quarter turn, and the torque sensor starts to engage, okay? I like that about this. Some people like it, some people don't. They want to be able to, you know, spin the crank maybe a half a turn before the motor engages. I like it when the motor engages almost immediately, because if you're sitting at a stop light, if you just stopped, okay, you don't want to have to pedal a half a turn or even a full rotation before the bike responds and gets moving, because it's a heavy bike. You know, it's like 77 pounds or something, so you want it to get moving right away, and I appreciate that. So here we are, pedal assist 1. I'm going to go ahead and add some more oomph to my pedaling here. And we're moving on up. We're already at 13. Now this is a pretty, this is a good exercise right here because I'm having to push on these pedals quite a bit. But we're still in pedal assist 1. But I can get it up to, you know, if I'm willing to put in the effort here, I can get it up to 20 and even beyond. But I'm also spinning my legs a little bit because I didn't change the gear selector over here. But if I go ahead and move it into pedal assist 2, 3, let's put it in 3. Now I've got a lot of assistance out of the motor, cruising at 13 miles an hour. There's pedal assist 4. Motor's engaging. A lot of juice coming out of the motor now. Comfortably riding at 15 miles an hour. Let's bump it up to 5. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and put it up in 6th gear. There's 7th gear, and there's 8th gear. Guys, we're in pedal assist 5, 8th gear. I'm doing 25 miles an hour, and I'm not getting any ghost pedaling. It's a comfortable cadence there. I can go a lot faster if I wanted to. That motor's going to help me out a lot. It's just a smooth ride. 27. I'm running out of road, so I'm going to have to stop here. Comfortably pedal at 27 miles per hour. I mean, not many bikes allow you to do that. So I attribute that to the 8-speed and the gear set that they put on this bike. Now let's talk a little bit more about the torque sensor. There's channels out there that have said that they don't like the torque sensor because it can act a little different from other torque sensor bikes that I've ridden. And that is, I already demonstrated when you first start pedaling, when you're stopped, how you can turn the crank, not even a quarter turn, and it engages. The motor engages and you start taking off. But when you're pedaling and you've been out here, cruising around for a little bit, when you change the gear, let's slow down a little bit here. Let's slow down here a little bit. So 6 miles an hour. We're in pedal assist 3. When you start to pedal, it feels like it takes a little bit longer before that motor engages. Okay? So we're cruising along and we bump it up to 4. Yeah, it's like a half a turn or maybe a little bit more before you feel the motor actually engage. And a lot of people are like, I don't like that. I don't like this. There's something wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, one, I want the motor to engage immediately when I'm stopped, because that means I don't have to push the heavy bike in order to try to get it moving. But once you're already cruising, I could care less if it takes a half a rotation before the motor engages, to take me up to that next higher pedal assist level. So for me, I don't think it's a problem at all. I really don't. All right, let's get turned around here. Let's demonstrate one more thing here, and that is, I'm going to get cruising here a little bit. All right. Whew. All right. We're going to go ahead and hit the brakes. I'm only doing about 21 right now. We're going to test out these brakes right here. Yeah, pretty quick stop. I try not to lock up the brakes. I could have. It did momentarily. I try not to do that. I try to leave the rubber on the tire, not on the road. But good braking power, so yeah, no problems there. Here's something that I'll tell you that, it's a little bit of a problem. Not really a problem, but my personal preference is I do like twist throttles over a thumb shifter. And when you're talking about an off-road bike like this, where you're going to be, potentially riding rough trails, bouncing around, when you're bouncing around, it's a little harder to keep your thumb, consistent pressure on the thumb throttle. And so you tend to want to kind of jump around a little bit. Whereas if it was a twist throttle, you've got a pretty good grip on the handle grip, riding these trails. And then you can still twist the throttle a little bit and kind of lock it in place, kind of hold it where you want it. A lot easier than your thumb over here that is just kind of free floating out there by itself on this throttle that's, pretty soft to begin with. So I do wish it had a twist throttle. I just prefer twist throttles anyway. But, they are a little hard to operate when you have a finger shifter over here. So it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want a twist throttle or do you want the finger shifters? All right. We got ambulances and fire trucks coming. All right, let's see what else can we share with you. So overall, I'm super happy with this bike. It rides really well. The motor's nice and quiet. I mean, you hear a little bit of a hum, but not bad at all. So I've been real happy with that. Real happy with that. It is a big bike. Some people are a little surprised, when they get it, thinking, oh wow, that's a big bike. So if you're not familiar with e-bikes, 26-inch tire bikes, they're pretty tall, and they're a big bike, and 77 pounds is pretty heavy too, especially you got that 19.6 amp hour battery. That all adds to the weight. So just be aware of that. But I'll tell you what, oh my goodness, if it's in within your budget, this makes a great bike, not just for trail riding. This just makes a great all-around bike. Because I've already demonstrated, I've already used it on the trails. As soon as Mokwheel comes out and starts selling the rear rack that they have designed, then you'll be able to haul a little cargo back there, put your tool bags back there, pannier bags, whatever you want, do a little shopping that way, and it's just going to make a great all-around bike. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. I think we talked about pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about, all the things that are important at least. I don't have hills, so I can't do any hill climbing tests. Now, I live in Florida. We just don't have hills here. Everything's flat. So I can't demonstrate that for you. But if you have any questions about the Mokwheel Obsidian, please drop them down below, and I will try to get those answered. Because, yeah, I'm happy with it. Super happy with it. And I think you will too. You know, if you're thinking about this, you know, go check it out. Go find a dealer, because Mokwheel does have dealers, you know, throughout the country here in the United States. And, you know, go test one out. Maybe find somebody that owns one already and you can go test it out. Hey, if you're in my area, you can come test this one out. That's how I do things. But, yeah, it's a great bike. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. If you're new here, subscribe, because we have a lot of different content on this channel. We have e-bike reviews, accessory reviews. We do how-to videos. We do maintenance. We do group rides. I do solo rides where I take you along with me. So we do a lot of different content. And, yeah, we got something for everyone. So if you come across a video that you just don't care for, that's okay. Stick around and wait for the next video to come out, because it might be something that would be very helpful or entertaining to you. Hey, that's going to be it for this one. You guys ride safe. I'll see you in another video real soon.